you're planning to study in Spain in year 2025 or 2026, have in mind there has been a lot of changes since May 2025 in the regulation. In this video, we are going to cover everything about it. For example, do you plan to apply for Spanish course within Spain? May not be doable in all cases. Do you want to work while you're studying in Spain? It is doable, sometimes automatic, sometimes you will need to require an extra process. Are you planning to apply with family or alone? All these things has seen a lot of changes, and it's very important to have a very clear path and study your options before you make any decision. Where do you apply from? This is the first golden rule we need to have in mind. Things has changed a lot. Before, everybody could apply from Spain. If you wanted to study, there were certain rules you have to respect, but you will be able to choose to apply from Spain or the consulate. Now this decision is still doable, but not for every studies. There are mainly two groups of studies: superior, or what is considered superior in Spain, and non-superior. Superiors are, for example, bachelor's degrees, master's, vocational formation for superior grade, formación profesional, and other similar studies. Non-superior are, for example, vocational studies of inferior level, language courses in most cases, and other similar studies. If you want to apply from Spain, within Spain, avoiding the consulate, it has to be considered a superior study. If not, you can only apply from the consulate. Have that in mind. But there are very important updates regarding this. As I said before, Spanish language courses, typically regarding the law, the new reform, they are going to not allow you to be applied from Spain. But there was a new note from the government that basically amplifies what the criteria is regarding the reglement, the regulation of studies. And they say basically that any study that is language, that is imparted, that is given by a superior education center, for example, a university, is going to also be considered superior. So if you have in mind what we just said, if you are enrolling in a Spanish course, you will have two options: doing in a non-superior, for any type of academy in Spain, and then you will be restricted to apply only from the consulate, or if you opt to apply from a university, you're going to be eligible to apply within Spain. That's very important in order to make your decision. Two, very important, the big benefit: you're going to be eligible to work automatically without too much effort in some cases. If you are enrolled in what we described before as a superior education degree, you are going to be eligible to work 30 hours per week automatically without the need of processing anything else. It could be as an employee to work for companies, or it can also be for self-employed. For example, if you're working for a company in Spain or abroad, you could be a student in Spain doing a superior degree or something considered superior while you keep your position invoicing from Spain. So that's a very interesting strategy in a lot of cases we take, okay? Non-superior studies won't have this option automatically, but they're also eligible to do it. What they will need to do is to process a new application for a very specific permit in order to be able to do it. Of course, it's an inconvenience, so it's better if you're planning to work while you're in Spain to enroll in what is considered superior studies. But attention, there is a limit. This authorization to work is only granted for the same province where you are residing. For example, if you're studying in Madrid and that's where your main center of living is, you won't be able to work for a company that's based in Barcelona. So if you're aiming for a specific market between Spain, specifically if you have a job offer or you're aiming for certain companies, it's better to find a school or university that is directly in the same place. So you're going to be eligible to work with them while you're a student. Also, have in mind that this work permit is only for the main applicant. If you are inside a group that is applying, one as a main applicant and then spouse, children, you will be needed to work only for the main applicant. The rest of the applicants that are in age of working, of course, are not going to have ability to work. They need to do something different if they want to, but they won't be automatically granted this permission. We are about to give you a very important tip that could save your application. But before that, if you're finding this video interesting, you find it useful, please share it, like it, and subscribe. Pro tip, the deadlines. This is probably one of the most important matters when applying for this permit. It always hurts when we hear some call, we get some requests of information, and by the moment the people is reaching us, they already are over the deadline. So this is very important if you are taking care of your own application, of even if you're planning to come to Spain or applying your consulate. Please have this in mind. There are two different deadlines. According to the new regulation, you need to apply 2 months before the initiation moment of your studies in Spain. For example, if your study is going to start in September, you should apply by July, not after that. There is one exception. The law allows in certain cases where you were not able to do the application for some external reason to do the application afterwards. But the consulate or the government here, the immigration office, they will need to evaluate that case. So every time you can do it, please don't leave it behind. Do the application with time. Second, and also very important, another deadline, if you're applying from Spain, you need to do it leaving at least 2 months prior to the expiration date of your legal residency in the country. Let me put an easy example that will be the most common also, that will exemplify this. Think that you're here for a 90-day Schengen visa for tourism. You will need basically to apply during the first month, because if you have a total of 90 days to stay here in the country and you need to leave 2 by the end of it, you will only have the initial one in order to process the application, the first 30 days, let's say like that. If you process your application later than that, on day 40, you're already out of time. The application is going to be rejected. They're not going to process it. They're not even going to look at your documents. So it's very important, respect the 2 deadlines. The initial one, apply 2 months before the initiation moment of your studies. And second, never ever ever apply over the deadline. Always apply leaving 2 months prior to the expiration date of your permit in Spain. If you're a tourist, apply during the first month of your 90 days stays in the country. Fourth, the exit strategy. Every time we are planning to become students in Spain, if you are going to enjoy the country and you want to remain here, one of the first questions you should ask yourself in this plan is, what's going to come next? This is what I like to call the student path. Typically, you will come as a student, you will finish your studies, and later will need to modify this permit in order to get a full work and residency permit. There are different options, but I'm going to focus this one basically in the most common one, that is finding a job in Spain and doing what is called the modification from study permit to employee work and residency permit. If you are doing this, there are several good news. First of all, that it will be processed in a theoretically faster time frame, and also they're going to allow you to start working full-time after the official reception of the process within the administration. What this means in practice: before this new regulation, you had the ability to work, of course, if you were able to do it in Spain, for 30 hours, but before you were able to start working 40 hours per week full-time, you had to wait until the process was finished. And this typically took like 5 to 6 months, 3, depending on the province where you were living. Nowadays, you will be eligible to work full-time from the moment that the administration confirms the reception, what we call admisión a trámite, admission of process, and you're going to be eligible to work. More importantly, if you initially didn't have this ability to work, but you're able to basically modify the permit, you will be granted the right to do it. So in the end, the result is that you're going to have a safer application of this modification process, and also you're going to be eligible to work full-time after the moment of admission. Second, and very important news, is that the process is simplified. Now, not only the company does the application for this, you as a student are able to basically collect all the documents, process the application. If you want to do it through a professional, you're also eligible to do it and pick the one you choose to. And some of the documents are going to be automatically consulted by the administration. So the process should be more streamlined. We're still pending to see how every immigration office basically applies this, but it's working kind of well, okay? The summary: what do you need to have in mind in the end in order to apply for a study permit, and extra tips that you may find useful. Very important, research the study institution you're going to be working with. There has been an update in the registry of how everything works and what universities and schools are authorized to study in Spain and which ones not. So Having clear information about which study centers are allowed to impart studies that you will be able to use in order to apply for visas is going to be very relevant for your decision-making process. Second, have in mind when the studies are going to start, when they're going to end, how that fits in your timeline, in your time frame. Because if you are going to be in Spain and you want to process the application with the deadlines we discussed, but your study is going to start in a later moment, it may not be enough for you. So having a very clear idea of when and how to apply, and when and how the studies are going to start, when are going to do the enrollment, when are they going to give you the documents needed for that, is going to be very relevant for your process. So have that in mind. Then about other requirements that we didn't enter in detail, but for example, the financial means that you're going to need in order to do the application. If you apply in the consulate, typically you're going to need to show bank statements of X amount of time, typically 3 to 6, of 7,200 euros per year or 600 per month of study. If you apply here from Spain, you typically just open a bank account here, you put the money necessary in the country, and you just get a certificate of economical financial means. With that is enough. You're not going to be requested to show previous past of your bank history. So that's a tip that may be useful for you. Language courses were typically a very straightforward route to gain time in Spain, and if you had a minor interest in learning the language, will allow you to basically apply from here, and it was a very common strategy. Now we need to be very careful if you want to do studies of Spanish in an academy to apply from the consulate. I saw a lot of confusion about this, that is necessary, okay? If you want to apply from Spain and have the other advantages of having a language study that is considered superior, remember you will need to do it through a university, so the offer is going to be more restricted. It's not that academies are not useful anymore, of course they are, and they are going to be much flexible in starting dates, finalization dates, the geography where you can do them, but they're not going to be considered superior. If you opt for a university, you are going to have a much restricted option regarding where to study and the spreadsheets and syllabus, etc. But you are going to be eligible to be considered superior studies, and this grants also advantages. As you've seen, Spain is making efforts to make rules clear, make safer applications, and even if we have this distinction between superior and non-superior studies, there are a lot of options to come to the country, find the study you want to do, get your residency permit afterwards, and make a plan here in Spain. My biggest general advice for you would be plan ahead. Planning ahead is going to be an advantage, deciding when and where to study, how to do the application, and basically making sure that you know what's coming next. The study way of starting in Spain is very good, but you need information in order to make it happen properly. If you'd like to have a professional firm like mine to help you with the application, please reach us. We will gladly help you in the process. And finally, if you find the video useful and the information important for you and relevant, don't hesitate subscribing and sharing the video with anybody you may think this is useful for.